Welcome back once again to Outside Inside Outside Racing. I am Ian, and I'm sitting on our ill-fated RallyCross AW11 MR2 known as Señor Dos. Señor Dos's 2024 season ended literally in a cloud of smoke. He gave up the ghost in the worst possible way, overheating, misfiring, coughing on his own exhaust like an old man trying to return soup. It was ugly. I threw every bottle of mystery juice at it. Stop leak, magic coolant, expired hope, and none of it worked. So when it came down to the final event of last season, I had to make a call to Keegan so I could borrow his MR2 because mine wasn't going to make it. And since it's blue, I dubbed it the Goblin. None of you gave me any better names, so that's what it's called now. It's your fault. Or congratulations? I don't know. So I did what I could to it, added arm restraints because it had no window, did the alignment, and did absolutely nothing to the coolant, which was chocolate brown. So, of course, the Goblin had its demons. More overheating, slower lap times every time. And just like that, we came in third in the final event. Just 10 points shy of first place for the season. So it was a pretty dramatic ending, but it was not the ending that we desired. Essentially because Señor Dos here died, my chances of a Kansas City Region season championship died along with him. But I swore that Señor Dos would return and vengeance would be his. So, in April of 2025, already an event behind in the season points, I made my plans to extract the 4AGE motor out of this poor little MR2. Well, here we go. I told you it was going to happen, and it's going to happen. You can see the MR2 is levitating. I got it up in the air on the biggest jack stands I have because we needed all this space underneath here to get the motor out of the bottom. She ain't coming out the top. She's coming out the bottom. I've never done one of these before, so it should be a real great time, I assume. I've made a list here. This is the order of operations that I got to go through here. What we're going to do is go through this list step by step, step by step. First, drain the fluids. Sometimes I don't. Make a big mess. Don't want to do that. Then we're going to take off the intake and the throttle cables and get those all disconnected. Then we'll disconnect the coolant lines with all the rubber hoses from all the hard lines that go to the front of the car and all that stuff. Fuel system, make sure we've got that disconnected and all buttoned up. Electrical, every connector is going to try to break on me, so I'm going to have to be very careful with all of the electrical connectors. Then this exhaust that Ryan made several years ago out of an old AMG muffler. We'll have to take that off because the motor has to come past it. And then there's axles and suspension, shift linkage, clutch lines, and of course the motor mounts. And then bam, it just boom right to the floor. I'm gonna make a quick video out of this. Maybe I just showed you time lapses of all of that stuff, happenings. So if you've come here to learn things about removing an engine from an MR2, my apologies. Find a different video. Hear me now and understand me well. If I ever catch you trying to do this job without a proper lift, I'm going to come and find you. And I'm going to chop your legs off myself because that's what this wants to do. It wants to cut off your legs, smash your head. This car is like 15 feet in the air right now. You seeing that? Luckily, I've got these truck jack stands. It's got a wicked rake to it. This is not in any way safe, but look at that. What is that? What is that right there? That is one filthy 4AGE motor and a C52 transmission. Now, what's next here? Good God, I don't know. I gotta crack that transmission off of the block so it doesn't weigh a ton, and we'll take it and clean it up too. But we need to have the motor separate so we can pick them both up separately. Might buy a can of engine degreaser stuff. It needs spraying off first and then degreasing and etc. It's going to be gross, so I don't want to do it at home. But we got to get it clean so we can get it back to the house, to the garage. It wasn't pretty and it wasn't fast, but it did happen. I drug the motor out from underneath this sketchily lifted body, and it felt like dragging a ghost out of a crypt. It was filthy, stubborn, and full of regret. Our Do ghosts regret things? Is that why they're around? I don't know. Over the next week, I set out to tear it down piece by piece. The deeper I got, the worse things looked. The coolant passages are pretty much caked in rust. Every gasket was brittle or gooey, and you could have scraped off the carbon buildup with a snow shovel. I pulled the head, then the oil pan and the pistons. Everything came off a little reluctantly, like it didn't really want to reveal how bad things were. And eventually, with the block stripped down, I brought out the bore caliper to test the roundness of the cylinders. This was my last hope for a quick rebuild. If the bores were straight, it would just be a quick hone and some rings, slap it back together, get it back under the car, and send it all over again. But of course, that is not what I found. I stood there in the garage, a caliper in one hand and a piston in the other, knowing that Señor Dos was not going to race again anytime soon. That's when I knew that I had to pivot. And so, this is not Señor Dos. This is now my car. I am giving up on Señor Dos because Señor Dos, hold on a second. Oh, hold something with me. Yeah. This is his motor. This is the block of the 4AG that came out of our 88 MR2 Señor Dos. I think it's an 88. You know, when you buy a car for $500 and you never title it, you don't really care what year it is. It's an MR2. This one might be an 85, I think. I'm not really sure. This block out of our AW11 MR2 is bad. It's a bad block. It's number 1 and number 3 are both out of round. I had hoped that they would be okay-ish, and that I could buy some rings and a rebuild kit, and I'd tear it down, build it back up with new rings, would be good to go. Plop it back in the car and go and rip it, but it's not. And some rough math to figure out what would have to be done to the block and maybe the head to get it in shape to be able to rebuild it back up again, I landed on somewhere in the $1,500 range. And I said, yeah, it's a lot of money. What kind of swaps could I do for that? Oh, a 2AR or a 2AZ? Oh, Ryan was like, you should do the, what is it, the 3MZ V6 swap? I'm like, yeah, all that sounds awesome. How much money for all of them? $1,500 here, $2,500 there, $3,500 out in space. I beat the hell out of these cars. I don't care to spend that much money on them. So what I thought was, well, Keegan still has that blue car that I drove in the last event of the last season. Not successfully. I did overheat it. Keegan's pretty sure it has a bad head gasket. But hey, we're going to hope that it doesn't, because it's cheap. So I'm trading Keegan this block, all of the stuff that goes along with it. He'll have himself a decent buildable 4AG. He wants some brake parts off the other car, this, that, and the other, and a little bit of cash on top, and slapped that money on the barrel head and brought myself home a 1985 MR2 in a beautiful shade of blue. Now that the only slightly kind of sort of better MR2 was permanently in my possession, hooray. It was tasked with just one job. It had to stop overheating. And according to the lore of the local MR2 community, including the experts Alex and Andrew Von Bevern and many other folks at Autocross that have MR2s, they say it should be impossible to overheat an MR2. There's like 40 feet of plumbing in this 6-foot-long car, so it has no choice but to be, heat sinked out of it. So something had to be very wrong. At best, a plugged radiator. At worst, a bad head gasket. So first I dumped out the coolant that looked like thick, hot chocolate, and I yanked the thermostat. I flushed it once, twice, 3 times some gravy. It still looked like a baby's diaper after a night of sushi and Modelo. I found clogged hoses, rusted shut IACV lines, and no vacuum to operate the heater switch, because whoever before me deleted the brake booster, and I guess that meant also deleting the vacuum, and the vacuum is what is used to open the heater valve. So I manually opened that valve and got the heater system bled until the hot cocoa poured from there as well. I flushed it all until the water ran clear, and then I swapped in my shiny dual-core aluminum radiator from eBay. Racing stuff. The fans fought me, but I got it in. Not you, the fans. Y'all never fight me. You just like and subscribe, right? The buttons. Anyway, I filled it again with the cleaner and distilled water, and I brought it to temp twice without the fans. Still, it poured forth its ooey gooey chocolatey goodness, like a lava cake at Chili's. But the oil was clean, no coolant in there, and it was all still there, and I was completely out of patience. So I said, screw it. I put in about a 60-40 mix of water to coolant. I left out the thermostat for easy bleeding, even though some people said it might lead to cavitation, and they're probably right, and I'll put a thermostat back in eventually. Just give me a minute. Just let me have this one. Because, spoiler alert, it worked out fine. All right, while I'm letting this lumpity lump do its lumpings, I'll tell you what we've done. Miles put the air filter on. We got the reservoir on over there. Right now it's got coolant in it. You can't tell because it's very brown. But I couldn't get undiluted red coolant, so I bought Prestone undiluted cheap stuff. It'll be fine. We'll dump it out before the next race too, because there's still obviously plenty of rust in it. The mixture right now is probably somewhere 60-40, maybe a little more than 60-40 water to coolant. That'll keep it cooler, but it's really just kind of because that's what was in the system. It's hard to drain all the water out of these, I think. I bought like a flush kit to flush some back and forth, and it was, garbage, so it didn't do anything for me. So even if it did do something for me, there was still plenty of water left in the system. I just keep coming up here and bleeding from the front bleeders every once in a while, squeezing hoses, letting it get hot. Right now it's almost to the middle. It's taken it about 20 minutes to get there, which is fine. We're gonna stay cool, that's for sure. Okay, I think that's enough recap of what we've done. We may actually be close to done for the day. I think the next things are going to be just piddly stuff. Oh, Miles also got the arm restraints in because we don't have the driver's side window. So our Rallycross, you got to have those arm restraints or a window net or whatever. Preferably a window, and we'll solve that in the future too. But he got those done. Now it's just going to be piddly little things. Getting the trailer, getting the car on the trailer, swapping the wheels and tires over to the knobbies, and then I think we're finally ready to race. We might need gas too. Gas would probably be good. So we buttoned up the rest that we had to, and we headed off for round 2 of the Kansas City SCCA Rallycross Championship. But the landscape for our little MR2 had changed. Our rivals from last season that we fought so hard against, Niles and Josh in their Miata, they moved on to another class. Uh-oh, is the car falling down? No, it's fine. This year would not be about a rematch against our greatest foe. Instead, we would fight a war against ourselves. It's all about longevity and consistency, keeping the car alive. And another shifted landscape was the literal landscape. South of our beloved Lake Garnett, home of the Lake Garnett Grand Prix Revival, second weekend in October every single year. Look it up now. Do yourself that favor. We traveled to Hallsworth Farm, a picturesque hilltop with elevation changes and off-camber corners. This was a nationals level course in its size and complexity. And even though it's a haul to get down there from Kansas City, we are so glad to have this back in the rotation for our region. So with our coolant temps low and our adrenaline high, we set off on our parade lap to have a look at what fun was in store. Okay, hello. Getting ready to go out for the parade lap. The windshield is incredibly dusty from that gravel road. I'm going to hit it with my jacket. It's getting colder. Oh, hi, I forgot the camera was on. We're about ready to go out on our parade lap for the Kansas City Region SCCA Rallycross event number 2 of 2025. And it's awesome. This hill, we're driving on this, we got a lot of off-camber, kind of turning on the hill kind of turns. So it's going to be like riding a motocross or, a dirt bike on a berm today. Once the berm gets built up, then we'll just ride it. We're not going to beat the hell out of this car today. As you know, we've been dealing with the cooling issues. If you can see the coolant temperature gauge right now, it is not even midway. That's without the fans running. That's just the new coolant system with the flush that we've done and the new radiator in place, and no fans running, and it's doing good. So we're going to get the fans running. We're not going to leave them like that, but we can't open the frunk because we don't have a pair of pliers. So we'll do that after we do our parade laps. It'll be fine. Oh yeah, and Ryan's right over there. Let's wave at him. Hey, hi Ryan. Hello. Yay, hi. Be careful when pulling in, pulling out that we don't run over our stuff. There's a shock up in the right front that sounds completely dead.
Oh yeah. The steering wheel is very large.
The steering wheel is very large. This is why I told you that we should have replaced the steering wheel. But steering's easy, It takes less input to do what you need to do with it. Remember, throttle, not steering, right? Goose it a little bit here to see what Ryan's talking about with off-camber. Let go. So you feel how it comes around when you lift off?
Yeah.
That's what this car does really, really well. It will rotate on the way in, but it's better if you get to the right point and lift, and then be careful about how you put your foot back down. Make sure you go right here. I think he went left. See, it's a wiggle here. Ryan missed a cone there. He's going to have to clean that up. Make sure he knows where he's going. Look all the way around. This window sucks. This purple tint is awful. That window is so much better. It's so clear. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Good.
I do.
Good, good, good. It's more lively than the other car, I feel like. And we're not even up to half on the temperature gauge. Hi, Adam. Adam's not looking. Okay. Get up and around so I can take my parade. All right, I've officially imprisoned myself. Miles is here of his own free will. So, let it begin. First run. Second gear only. Save the car. 16 total runs planned for the day, and the course at Hollingsworth was long and flowy. Grass in the morning, dust in the afternoon. Our main competition this round? A sweet Mustang. Quick, loud, and sideways all the time. We knew that we had more pace, but again, second gear only. Slowly and methodically, we crept ahead. The Mustang ran into fuel issues, and we kept it clean. By afternoon, we felt like we needed to widen the gap, so slammed her into first. And holy waffles. In second, the car is a gentle ride on a working man's ATV, but in first, it's a two-stroke dirt bike with a vendetta. Front tires in the air, rear tires chewing up the earth like it owes them money. Our Max Sport Eurocross tires, they're old, they're bald, they're 3 seasons in, but they're still phenomenal in this dirt. We're going to need a new set soon, though, if we want to stay ahead of the game. Anybody want to toss a set at us for some sponsorship? This is a wink. Even though I said exactly what I want. Wink. We stayed cool. Well, at least the car did. We drove smart. The car did not overheat. No milkshake oil. No explosions, just clean runs. Well, almost clean. There were some safety concerns in the afternoon that caused our safety advisor to be out on course looking at things, and he was a little too close, and Miles thought he might actually hit him. I don't have any footage of it, but it messed Miles up. Then he hit some cones afterward, and that might have made me a little angry, and I might have yelled, and get Mark out of my way! One of our many safeties is also generally the man with the fastest time of the day at our rallycrosses, and our hot dog chef extraordinaire, Mr. Mark Hill. I have since apologized profusely to Mr. Hill for yelling at him, especially a death threat. I'm gonna hit you, Mark, I swear to God! It's not good. I love Mark Hill. I love all of our safeties. I love everybody who puts on our events. I just want everyone to be safe, from the drivers to the safety to everybody. And I also don't want to have somebody standing in my line while I'm driving, even in my peripheral vision, because I'm trained to stop for that human. Anyway, I can't promise you that I won't throw more hissy fits this season, but when I do, I know that my good buddy Larry will let me know about it at the start of my next run. On the upside, on the up and up, we did what we set out to do.
Second place, driving the Toyota Mr. 2. Yeah. Miles Smith.
Woo! Yeah!
First place in modified rear-wheel drive. The other MR2 driver, the one and only Ian Jennings.
Thank you. I did it.
Oh, I'm still at the Honda.
And that is how you start a comeback. But the Goblin here still has its demons. We need a real hood latch, an engine prop, a trunk latch, smaller steering wheel with an extender, the door cards from Techno Toy Tuning to stop slicing up our arms on the metal in the doors, and we may want functional windows. Could help. Also, I'd like to get rid of the purple tint, because the purple tint on the passenger side window is god-awful. You can barely see out of it. We're also going to strip down the interior, remove the carpets, generally de-louse this whole vehicle because it's got a lot of gross in it from the many years of being driven, lived in, etc. Basically, we're going to get rid of anything that's not helping us go faster. So yeah, there's plenty left to do, but hopefully the next time that you see the Goblin here, it'll be a little faster, a little cleaner, and a little meaner. So that's all for this time. You know, if you like what you see, please give us a like and a subscribe. From all of us at OIO Racing, stay safe out there and go out and find your own Apex, because it is better late than never. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to scrap a car.